So many devices.
It's all the things. Oh my God. I got a list. And you don't, when you have the business, here, we got the Great Northern Sex Cast. Of course, I've got fantasy gifts. But then there's this whole side of parenting and home ownership. And I don't really ever get to, separate them. I mean, everything, the to-do list is this amalgamation of everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My brain hurts. I would much rather just, deal with what sort of dildo should we get, or we're pricing new things in the back. They're markers, edible scented markers that you can draw on each other with. So in other words, they've made a grown up version of what kids have been doing with their damn Crayolas forever.
Oh, how fun.
So they're going out to the stores right now, and they're really big and they're sort of wide and they weigh a bit. So I'm thinking that there's not you ever buy something and it looks really big and there's like a 1/4 inch of ink in a novelty pen. This seems because of the weight of them that there's going to be some weight to them. I haven't taken out any and played with them.
Oh, I have to buy those.
But they're being priced in back. I have no idea. I just saw them when I was in back.
So basically, edible markers that you can write on your partner
with, so and they're scented and flavored.
You know what would be fun to do with that is to write on yourself and put arrows do this here.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Something hurts. Nothing here. Bruised. Off limits. No.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
My damn cat got out of the house the other day. Now, we found the little fucker. Okay.
Oh, good.
But of course,
which one?
The all gray one. So, but he got under a neighbor's deck, and I don't have an alley in my street in Minneapolis. So behind the two houses, because they cut down a hill and they put in some houses, there's 90 years of broken fences, retaining walls, scrub, trees. I look like I've been beat with sticks because I'm clambering through this shit in flip-flops.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
But we got the damn cat because we poked it with a big stick.
Oh.
And sprayed water at it. And we finally shooed it towards my kid. She called all her friends in. It was like a little kitty cavalry. It was spectacular. I'm like, oh my God. It was my fault too because I left the kitchen window open and she pushed open the screen. My own. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. And so this has been it's just everything is flying at me.
Yeah.
And it's much more fun to talk about sex toys. So I'm really glad you're here.
Me too.
And naked people and all sorts of fun things that are going on in the world because there's enough real important shit in the world. And we do cover real important shit too. Rising STD rates and all that sort of stuff. But
for sure.
Sorry, so this is me rambling. Because I've been going.
I just have one by way of what's going on in my life thing to add so I'm getting new windows put in my house today. Mm-hmm. And
it's raining. What a lovely day.
I know. And the guys showed up at the house and they all seem very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a dog in my car because the one dog won't go to the basement. She will not go down those basement stairs. Won't go. The other one loves the basement. So that one's at home. But getting out of the house, trying to keep the dogs under control. They were both howling. Mm-hmm. And the guys had hoodies and baseball hats on when they came up because it's raining, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they didn't, they weren't
attempting to look like the creeper in the white van.
Right, right. And they do have a white van, but anyway.
Okay.
But the dogs were going crazy and I'm trying to get them outside in the rain, all while trying to avoid inducing a hot flash. Which when I start to get every day, if I'm going to get a hot flash, it's going to happen when I'm trying to get out the door because I sort of just naturally get ever so slightly hysterical as my final descent to the car. Do
I have everything? What I've forgotten?
Right.
This blah, blah, blah. Every list in your head.
Oh, yeah. And so I've got an ice pack on my head, a dog that's she's got the leash on, but she's also chewing on it, And, oh, yeah. It was just, it's like, hi, good to see you too.
Yeah. It's okay, let's just sit here and talk about some fun stuff. Okay. I think I sent you something. I can't remember what the hell it was.
You're going to have to break it down. It is the article that says further proof that gender leaning is fluid. And so do tell me what you read.
What I read is I'm flipping through this and it's saying that anywhere from our teens all the way into our 40s and 50s, they followed a fairly large group of people and they asked people questions about who they're attracted to, what's going on. And they found that it's not just, you're not just like a college lesbian. You know what I mean? Women will experiment more than men, but how you perceive your gender, your fluidity, who you're attracted to is not set in concrete at one point. It changed, and I sort of like that idea.
So some people,
you have more, because I didn't print it out, but it's like there are people that just know, and that's fine. I mean, it never occurred to me to be, I'm pretty sure if I had filled out something in my late teens or early 20s, I don't know, socialization or something like that, I'm pretty sure my answer should be the same. But that's me. But there was a significant amount of people whose answers to the same questionnaire when they're 14, 24, 34, or 44 are not the same.
Interesting.
It's going through there. And so it's not, it's not choosing one way or another. It's just that people's brains have evolved to be different. It's just the way that, it's not, you don't get to, so when people say, there's no checkbox at any point, in utero that some sort of fetus or zygote checked and said, I'm going to do this.
Where'd you read it, Colleen?
I'm going to have to, let me dig it out. Going through there.
Okay.
A friend found it and I saw it on a Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Through there.
So it was a study that was done and followed people
Followed people for quite a number of years. And I sort of liked that. Yeah. It was going through, there was just more work where you realize that brains are just amazing things and that nobody has to be in a rigid box.
Right. Well, and I've had conversations with people like, okay, so people who would say that by and large they consider themselves to be heterosexual and attracted to the opposite sex, but they have had either single crushes or affairs with someone of the same sex, but they don't feel bisexual because it was about that one person. Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of stories like that from people. Obviously, this is anecdotal versus an article that you found, but that doesn't really surprise me because I've heard enough stories myself from people who have had such an experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like I said, the title here in the first paragraph is that the vocabulary we currently use to describe sexual orientation is hopelessly inadequate, with labels like gay, straight, and bi falling far short of the complex reality a long-term study suggests. And it says, sexual identity and attraction undergo an extensive and often subtle changes throughout a person's life, continuing long past adolescence and into adulthood, with women showing slightly more fluidity than men. And, it just, and this was health scientist at Virginia Tech, Christine, she has a really cool name. It looks like Castle or Casel. That's cool. I bet she has to spell it every damn day of her life. Mm-hmm. And it was a range of, I was screwing it up with another study. 6,000 students from the ages of 16 to 32 over, I can't find the years, but they do, but it changed.
Interesting.
And I was going through there, but so it's just, I do think that folks should be allowed to be who they are in the moment, and the moment might change, and that's fine. The moment might not change, and that's fine. But questioning how someone feels towards someone should never change.
Yeah.
It's going through that way.
For sure. Okay, so speaking of questioning how somebody feels or identifies, I got a bridezilla for you. Long story short, a woman went ahead and put a post on Facebook saying that she banned her 6-year-old niece from wearing a superhero costume to the wedding. And she said, was at the soon-to-be in-laws today, and they chose this dress for my fiance's niece. I told them to keep shopping. Do people really not understand what to wear to weddings? And then, there was a cascade of commentary, some of whom defended her. Others were like, really, bitch? Thoughts?
I wonder, okay.
She wasn't in the wedding.
She wasn't in the wedding. Mm-mm. It was a little girl that was going to be a guest.
Yes.
Okay. The moment that you allow children to be at a wedding, you don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I don't really see the point, because you see a lot of socialization and gender roles here. What if would she be having the same same cow if a little girl decided she wanted to wear a tux. Would she have the same thing if she wanted to wear like her favorite, as long as she's, I don't know. It just seems a little weird that there's a lot of stuff going on there. And she probably, concerns that, of course, the child's going to, deflect her attention from her. And, she already did that.
There you go.
She set herself up here.
There you go. And so this next one is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. There's a city councilwoman in Kentucky, specifically Berea, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Her name is Emily LaDouceur. She got body shamed for wearing leggings and a purple blouse to teach a class to some kids. A guy put some really horrible, commentary out there. Actually, why would what was this person doing? Like, stalking schools and taking pictures of teachers? No, actually, okay. So there was a Facebook post of her day teaching at the Berea Community Elementary School. It was a municipal government, little seminar that she was giving. And most of the comments came from a local conservative group who has been doxing and harassing her online, calling her big, body shaming, insults, the whole 9 yards. And so this whole movement sprang up where people are wearing leggings and posting pictures right and left. I don't. I mean, obviously, any of those posts on anything like that certainly want to run afoul of most social media's behavior standards. Mm-hmm. But I did find what I find interesting here is that, once again, you said they've actually had a difficult time if they actually follow the rules, social media. They end up getting rid of a lot of, and they've already done this past week, getting rid of a lot of what people will self-identify as conservative values. But a lot of the conservative values include bigotry and shaming and doxing and stuff like that. And so people are just, you have to, and these are private companies. But I can't imagine why at any point in time who would, the minute something like that happens, there should be a way to there's no reason to say that. Mm-hmm. And there's no free speech on social media platforms because it's a private company. The government's not, shutting anything, stuff like that. And so I know that there's stuff out there that says this stuff should be regulated like something, and that it is a public square, but legally it's not. So they should be able to, shut his ass down. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, because there is someone's, you're allowed to think anything you want. You're allowed to say anything you want, but the consequences you get from that, as long as they're not from the government.
Yeah, I know. And I just don't think that assholes are partisan any longer. I think that there's a lot of really rude stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they've been
on
blocked
both
too.
Sides. I mean, there was this one thing, and I stay completely out of this fray, but there was a Pennsylvania congressman that posted a video. I saw it on the news this morning. Mm-hmm. Did you see this? There was a woman. A woman probably in her 60s, I would guess, approximately. Mm-hmm. You don't see much of her face, but she was outside an abortion clinic, and she was just walking silently, and she was praying the rosary. Mm-hmm. Okay, whatever. She wasn't talking to anybody. She wasn't doing anything. She was just praying. This not a city councilman, I beg your pardon, Pennsylvania congressman is videoing, getting right in her face and saying, "Look at this old white lady, harassing people."
Yeah.
And it was terrible because she wasn't approaching anybody. He was all up in her grill and saying, "Oh, let's show her face," and all that. And I'm just like, dude, what the hell? I
do know that my that's completely inappropriate, and it's going through there. But like I said, I'll have to Google it and send it over to Megan so she can put it up. But there was a study that said, oh my God, they can't put in that they can't put in the algorithms for the behavior because it catches, it would catch the president.
Would catch, oh my God. Well, I think it would.
And it would catch, but they blocked Louis Farrakhan the other day, who tends to, people put on the far left, but it also blocked, some of the white supremacists, stuff like that. But it's just, but they don't know whether or not social media, whether or not it is it a public square or not? And legally right now, it is not a public square. And so, and if it did become a public square to some extent, then the internet becomes a public square, and you would have to treat it like a utility. Because
so what do you mean by that?
Because we all need water. We all need gas, light. There's public commissions.
Can't turn it off.
So you can't turn those things off and stuff like that. But you have to treat it like a utility. So you can't have Comcast or Frontier or U.S. Internet or whatever the company is deciding who gets to be on the platform, who doesn't. So you do have to go to net neutrality, which people aren't. So you don't get. Then there's commissions on what the rates you can charge and all that sort of stuff. Because right now, so. If social media is a public square, then the form that it's on, has to be going through there. Yeah. And so, everything has changed so much. I mean, I was just, in just 20 years.
Oh yeah.
When I think about what I really miss, my little Razor flip phone. Weren't those great? The little pink Razor flip phone in my. But I'm saying is that it was nice and simple.
I never had one.
Okay, but I'm saying just a really simple phone. I didn't even text. It was just nice to be able to have the phone to get a hold of someone, say that you're running late and stuff like that. And now the fact that I'm running around with the entirety, or pretty much the entirety of the world's knowledge in a 3.5 inch by 6.5 inch,
basically,
piece of plastic. Yeah,
it's something that's more sophisticated than what powered the original moon.
Oh well, yeah. You could probably put almost all of the moon technology in the past 40 years is still less than what I'm holding in my hand.
Right. It's amazing. But yeah, going back to what you said, I don't want the government to get involved. And I agree with you that they're private companies. I guess my personal hope is that people would just be more decent to one another on a regular basis. That's just me.
It's just been. People were assholes before, and now it's been. Now I know that someone's an asshole in, let's say, Mongolia.
Oh yeah.
And before, I didn't know. I assumed that there were assholes in Mongolia,
but now
you know
in
for Korea, or in Thailand, or in New Zealand. You know what I mean? I assumed that there was the same amount of assholes there. We just now know about the assholes.
Oh, that's funny.
Or, I assume that they're like, assholes somewhere in the middle of Montana. I just didn't hear about it.
That's a good point.
I honestly don't think, nobody magically became an asshole in the past,
because of social media.
Because of social media.
Right.
They were just, they just. But it also has, it also has, a lovely thing. You're going through there, and I don't think, I don't think posts where people say, "Oh, look at this lovely person who saved all this money to give their friends a wheelchair." They should never have to do that. The person just should have a goddamn wheelchair. So that sort of stuff is just sort of strange. But it because sort of like. Happiness porn versus like, violence porn or free stuff like that.
I do.
Wow, everyone's donated so that this library can be rebuilt. Well, a goddamn library should just be rebuilt.
Right.
It shouldn't take donations. To pay your medical bills or to get a wheelchair or to, or stuff like that.
I definitely hear you, but I will say that the flip side of what we were just talking about is the good news stories, and those are super fun to see. And we don't ever give the credit.
Oh, like did you see the one with the puppy? Like, okay, there was a little puppy taking a nap on a sofa with the human.
Okay.
And then the adult dog brought a doggy bed over, put it on the floor, then picked up the puppy, put it on the bed, and then the big doggy climbed up with the adult because the large dog was like,
That's my human.
That's mine. No, I was here first. You said, the dog
God, that's
brought
cute.
a bed over for the puppy.
That's
the
funny.
Adult dog. I'm like, honestly, this dog has more empathy for another dog than some humans do for other humans, for God's sakes.
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm. But, and like I said, what would we do without being able to Google funny cat videos? I mean, Or
Lizzo's ass. Oh my God! Do you have the rapper Lizzo? She's a woman. She's the logo. She is spectacular at social media. She's also a big, beautiful woman that is very proud of her body. So her Instagram feed is photo shoots of her and her dance, and she likes body stockings and corsets and heels. And she went to the Met Gala, and she had this gorgeous feathery pink and white coat, long full coat on like a duster. Her Instagram of her wearing it through the airport yesterday, going to wherever she was going, was one of the most spectacular things in the world.
That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got to look that up.
And her music. Honestly, whenever I lose my phone, one of her older songs, I think, is called Where the Hell My Phone? And so this just goes through my brain, her voice, whenever I can't find my goddamn phone.
Okay, I've got it. Okay.
But she's beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful and big.
You are cracking me up. I cannot keep up with you, and I'm the one that has the stories here.
Oh.
So, speaking of, you said something that was going to lead me right into this, but now I can't remember what it was, so we'll get there in a minute. Moving from Kentucky just quickly to, because we were talking about body shaming and here we are. Now we're going to go for just a moment to Tennessee. I don't even know what to say about this other than this movie theater is owned by whoever, but, there's a remake, I guess, of the 2004 superhero movie Hellboy. Okay.
I did hear, not my genre, but I did hear about this.
Right. Okay. Not my genre
and
either.
And it was Ron Perlman played the title character in the original one.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And they've already made $19.8 million in the first 2 weekends. But this particular theater, it is not on the marquee as Hellboy. It's Heckboy. And they said, well, we have never put any words on our sign that may be seen as profanity. We're in the Bible Belt and we have hundreds of children walking by. So it's Heckboy.
Oh, believe me, these kids have heard a lot worse.
Oh my God. I know. But, it's like,
but honestly, it's also great marketing
for them. Yeah, for sure. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This is ew. Okay. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you. Tell me if you think it's ew. So this sexy, quote unquote, sexy save the date thing. It's an invitation and 7 photographs of the bride and groom to be. And they had people touching the two of them, touching tongues, other photographs, including one of them naked under a towel, another one where the bride is grabbing the guy's junk. And they're going to get married on the 20th of April. And somebody even called out the 420, like that's slang for pot smoking. And everybody's like, if they do this for save the date, what are they going to do at the wedding? Full frontal.
My guess is that they are an incredibly demonstrative couple. And this is nothing out of character for them. I mean, I don't think someone said, we spent our whole lives, dressing in turtlenecks, and sitting on opposite sides of the table and not holding hands while we go out to eat. So I think that we will, for our save the date, let's get suggestively clothed or unclothed and grab each other. There's no way this came out of the blue.
Yeah, but hand holders are a little bit different than junk grabbers.
That's what I'm saying.
Photographic evidence.
That's what I'm saying. But like I said, they were obviously not, more than likely this is completely in character for them.
Ugh. Yuck.
Yeah. Good to go through there.
Yuck. So I have an article that Ms. Megan will post on the Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page. It's kind of funny. It's 3 people telling the story of their Mile High Club things.
that is just mind-boggling to me.
Well,
I don't understand. I mean, hopefully, I suppose that there are things like private jets, and stuff like that. But on a regular commercial airline, seriously.
Yeah.
I have an outstanding imagination. I cannot wrap my brain around that.
Oh, well, what's great about this one, the reason why I decided to call it out is because they admit how hard it was to do, and butts sticking up against things and getting it's funny. So, and then the third ones, they had to basically settle for a blowjob because they could not make contact in the confines of the.
I suppose the person with the penis was probably standing on the toilet for the blowjob.
Something.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
because there was no kneeling, and then you have to bend over. There's no there's no people standing on the floor.
One guy was afraid that the what am I trying to say? Faucet was going to go up his butt.
I am overly concerned that I'm going to leave there with whatever clothing I'm wearing stuck in my underwear or jammed up. You just cannot maneuver.
No.
I
know.
I am not a horrible, I'm not like a gymnast limber person. You'd have to be like that. I just don't.
I don't either.
And they're so gross.
Oh, I know.
Airplanes get cleaned once a day.
Ew. Well,
it's disgusting.
Yes, I agree. But on from disgusting to humorous.
Oh, I can handle that.
A Game of Thrones porn parody. They've already got 2 million views. It's on Pornhub. The original one is called Game of Bones. But this has a new version based on the current running season, which is number 8. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be called Game of Bones 2, Winter Came Everywhere. This is clever. This is pretty damn funny.
I watched, I think I may have mentioned this before, possibly 5-6 minutes of a show eons ago when it came on, because I did not. What is this on HBO? Mm-hmm. I know I haven't had HBO or cable for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I've never seen. But I think maybe the first year I turned. I'm like, dude, what's this? Oh, that's violent as fuck, and it went away.
Oh, it is. It's very violent.
And that's it. I said no, I'm done, and I just haven't cared.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's terrible. Mm-hmm. They lobbed off somebody's head on the last show. And it was very, very graphic, but I'm addicted. But I got to give you some of the other names. Like I said, the people that come up with these porn parody things are hysterically funny. So John Blow instead of Jon Snow, Big Finger versus Little Finger, and Bran Job instead of Bran Stark. So, it's funny.
I always wonder if the folks that made the. There are 2 things that I think have some of the most creative, silly names in the world. And one of them is, of course, adult movies. Yep. And another one is nail polish names.
Oh, those are lipstick can be pretty good too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, and is it OPI?
Yeah.
That has absolutely. There
is no way. I've always wondered if they're doing if it's Iceland or they're doing it in a northern country, do they sip whiskey or cold, a cold weather drink and that, or if they're doing Australia or Fiji or something like that, do they make margaritas? I always figure there has to be a booze that matches the theme while they're coming up with these damn names.
Oh, there has to be. Well, can I just tell you, I think I think it's still winning all-time funniest nail polish name ever. Did you ever? I'm Not Really a Waitress.
Oh yeah,
that is.
Yeah, I own that one.
Oh yeah, and it's red.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Moving on. I have not seen. Honest to God, I think it's been over 3 years since I have seen a pegging story. We have not talked about pegging. You mentioned it briefly last week, actually, but this was so the rage.
Well, it's still. What's happened is that it's become ordinary. Anal sex used to be its own, movie feature. Okay. And now it's almost in every movies. And pegging has become fairly. Yeah, and actually, that is. I did not realize that Dan Savage, it was one of his. They named it with his podcasts and stuff like that. The same thing with Santorum and stuff like that. I believe pegging was involved with that. They were coming up with explanations for it. So I think it was named, something to do with his blog or column or anything like that.
Neat. Okay,
or his
interesting.
podcast. But we sell so many strap-ons, dildos, the Rodeo H. It's like it's the most incredible, beautiful, soft underwear that is made with O-rings and stuff like that. So we sell tons of that. And by the way, someone knocked them off. I'm not even going to give them. I'm not going to say what they are, but you want Rodeo H, and we have it at our stores here in Minnesota.
Okay,
and it's a spectacular underwear harness. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's this article that we'll post on the Facebook page that has excerpts from a Men's Health article that features Alicia Sinclair. She's a certified sex educator, and she gives her 4 critical steps or things, how to do it in there. Communicate, build up to it, buy the right stuff, and use a lot of lube. But we'll put the whole article there.
Yeah. Oh, I ran across something this week too about that. Supposedly, and I did not Google to find out. I did not go to Snopes. I didn't do any of that. Okay. I just saw the headline. I didn't have time to look into it. That the I'll Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That song, I think from Meatloaf, I think was about pegging. Let's go through that. There's someone
pegging.
Someone was surmising that or whatever. So I will have to do a little bit more research
my God,
on that.
You have to tell me.
Yeah, I saw that. I read a little bit, and something interrupted me, and I did not get any far, which is why it never got shipped off to anyone because I didn't have a chance.
Oh my! You must let me know. Mm-hmm. Okay, actually, this is kind of an important story here.
Okay.
Breaking here on the Great Northern Sex Cast. We've talked before about how people are 50% more likely to have sex on vacation. Mm-hmm. Well, duh.
Yeah,
right?
Because you're not worried about groceries, picking up the kids, going to work. I mean, because honestly, it's sleep, eat, and fuck.
Yeah.
Which is the point of a vacation. Now, if you're on a trip, there might be less sex because you got stuff you have to do. Yeah. On a vacation, on the other hand.
Okay, but there's this article, and we'll post it for you, talking about, hey, if you're going to take your toys, you got to be careful because there's some countries where you can get in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And so I thought this was our PSA of the week. So, like, for example, the United Arab Emirates and the Maldives, they prescribed Islamic law, which in 2011 made these things either buying them or bringing them into the country illegal.
Yeah, and there are places that our website will, our e-commerce site will not send toys. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So check restrictions if you're going to pack toys.
Yeah. And also, by the way, take the batteries out of them too, or if they're rechargeable ones, you want to make sure that the button's off because, buzzing hand luggage is going to get you pulled aside.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I get pulled aside without anything interesting on me at all. I can't even imagine the ruckus that would cause. Did you ever hear the rumor years ago that people were kind of trolling Lady Gaga about being a man? Did you ever hear that there was this whole thing going on about her having really that she was born a man and
I think possibly, I don't know. I probably didn't pay too much attention to it. She had an amazing outfit at the Met Gala. Mm-hmm. It was 4 outfits. She started with this massive outfit and then went down to to a jewel encrusted sort of bikini outfit with stockings and the shoes. It was amazing.
Yeah, she
the theme of the Met Gala this year was camp. Yeah. So she nailed it.
No, she's crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, it's popping up again. So here you go.
Everything old is new again on the internet?
Pretty much. And so that brings us to this week, Drunken Asshole, who hails from Russia. He's a 53-year-old anesthetist, and he got completely fucking hammered between Bangkok and Moscow, and they had to tie him up, bind his hands and feet, because the dude was trying to open the emergency exits. And screaming and humiliating flight attendants. Really? And
but they got him tied up before he got naked?
He was not naked. Just a complete jerk. But now he's all bunged up and saying that he couldn't breathe and they pinned his larynx. And it's like, it's kind of what they call assumed risk. When you drink 2 bottles of booze and act like a doorknob on a flight, if your larynx gets pinched, it's what you signed up for.
If you've, although, it's also an excellent, obviously, these were flight attendants that were not into rope play.
Yeah.
Because I would have. Then again, if someone's thrashing around, you have a hard time with that.
Well, and, if they're going to touch stuff like the emergency exits.
Yeah, I think, honestly, my foot would have been on his larynx. So,
pretty much.
Could have.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes. Every time I get on a flight now, or you go someplace, you're thinking, if something like stupid or bad happens, it's going through there. It was just, you just wonder if you would, if you would, rise to the occasion, and do the right thing.
You'd hope so. I always hope so. So I don't know if we've talked about this, but I've certainly read about it. Britain has an upcoming, what is referred to as a porn block coming, and they've passed laws there where, there's a standard of ID verification that they are going to impose to keep people under 18 from accessing porn. But as with anything like this, you now get into this whole thing of, banning perfectly legitimate sites and
places for people to, exchange information that might be, life affirming or life saving.
Yep. Yeah. And so, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I want to watch it because
with Instagram and Tumblr and a whole bunch of other places, removing, tens of thousands of sites, there's not really a safe space for some communities to be anymore. It's really frustrating. Yeah. And I know that, for example, you can't even find our podcast by some searches because it has the word sex in it.
Okay.
Because I was playing with that the other day and it just does not show up. So one of the reasons, so if you're listening or if you're doing a podcast, you definitely subscribe. I don't send you anything. We don't do anything. I barely write newsletters. It's not like if it's subscribed that I don't even know how to get. I'm not exactly sure how it works. So it's not like I'm going to find your email or something like that.
Yeah.
Believe me, that is way too much work for me. That should have never going to happen. That is never going to happen.
Yeah.
But whatever platform you're on, if you're subscribing, this will go directly, to your inbox or what's going through there. Because I've been noticing that there are certain platforms that are, getting more folks are listening to us than ever. Yeah. We get this gets really lost in iTunes. So if you like, because there's just too much there.
Yeah.
But some of the other, it's like, oh, that's sort of fun. It's fun to play with the stats.
Yeah. I just want to read you this quote from the head of cyber investigations at McAfee, whose name ironically is John Fokker.
The same as like the
Fokker.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He said, here's this quote about this British situation we're indubitably going to be talking about coming up. He says, quote, "A censored internet will force users to circumvent the enforced controls, and on the hunt for the content they want, it is likely they will search in even more dangerous places online." So, could have the opposite effect.
Yeah. There are sometimes I'm amazed every day that on some of the places that I have, that I use social media, that my store sites, the site stuff is still there, because we have to work really hard to think, okay, is someone gonna say yay or nay to this? We had to stop man meat of the week because people reported a half naked guy. Much less the half naked, because we're always, Victoria's Secret ads were more risque than the stuff we posted. But all you need is an asshole.
Oh yeah. Which, remember how a couple minutes ago we were talking about good viral things? Well, here's one that I found that I didn't know if we'd get to it or not, but I'm just going to throw it in because it's cute. This one happened in Alabama. It's all about the South today, apparently. He went out to eat with a couple buddies, and he saw this older woman eating alone, and he said, dang, I'd hate to have to eat alone. Mm-hmm. So long story short, he went and talked to her, and she was a widow who had gone out on the eve of her 60th, what would have been her 60th wedding anniversary. So he talked to her a little bit and invited her to join them.
I think I saw this. It was the three guys like in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
And they just had the best time.
Yeah, and they posted the picture. See, this is the stuff that like makes me so happy.
It is nice to know that, because that honestly does happen.
Yeah.
All the time, too.
Yeah.
It's going through there.
I want to talk about that.
And I do find that, and the thing is that it was, intergenerational. It was, people from very different backgrounds. But what this guy saw was an elderly person dining alone.
Yeah.
And went, you know what? There was, this person lost nothing by going up and chatting. If the person would have said, I'd rather be alone, you turn around and go and stuff like that.
Right. And some people feel that way.
Yeah. And I'm not, nothing would be diminished by at least, and like I said, the other day I saw someone, attempting to get out of a booth, and I could tell that she was unsteady and she was trying to get to a walker. And I stood for a moment, just, and I didn't go any farther. I didn't grab her or do anything. Mm-hmm. I just made sure that if she did need help, it would be okay. Because you don't want to just randomly grab someone.
Oh, God, no.
Because you don't know, that you don't with their balance. Just like you can both go down.
Yeah.
But I did see this, and it was adorable. And, I eat alone all the time. And I'm assuming this will continue, because I've always have. I've got I had a book or a newspaper. Now I've got the phone with Wi-Fi. Hell, I can watch all sorts of TV while I'm having lunch.
Right.
But I would certainly hope that someone would come up and say, hey, especially if someone, there's a look on someone's face too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there was. But the smile in the picture was spectacular for this woman.
That's so cute. Well, kudos to those guys. Mm-hmm. And we close today with... This comes from my How Stupid Do You Have to Be file. Nicolas Cage has done some really good movies in his life, but he was married for 96 hours. And by the way, this was number 4th marriage for him, which that's a whole entirely different subject. But they filed for divorce. They got married. I think it was in Vegas. Yep, it was Vegas. They got
and he wants going to be Vegas or Reno.
Yeah, and he says he wants an annulment too. He says he reacted on impulse and without the ability to recognize or understand the full impact of his actions, and it was also based on fraud. And this woman is now saying that, okay, this cracks me up. She says that she wants spousal support, and she says she lost out on career opportunities during her relationship with him, which had been going on for a year. But, we're only talking about the marriage here. So what could you possibly fucking lose out on in 4 days? Just saying. Anyway, she's 34, he's 55.
Oh.
And so it's going to be very interesting. Here's the quote from, it says that the court will consider the length of her relationship as well as the respective financial conditions of the parties and how much it will cost her to, quote, regain financial independence. You're married for 4 days.
You're married for 4 days, and even you were seeing each other for a year. That doesn't mean you were. There's parts of that relationship. Yeah, you have to go out of Philippines. You weren't. It wasn't one. It wasn't an entire year of like living. It just. Oh my God. Honestly, I think there are some people that need handlers,
like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite movie of his was I think Jens, it was Valley Girl.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah.
That came out when we were kids. And
we're all the same age as him because he's just a couple years older than us.
A couple years older than we are. Yeah. And I was in high school when that movie came out, and I lived in Southern California. So you can imagine that
it was funny in Minnesota. So I'm assuming that it was really there was probably stuff you guys got that we didn't even get.
It was us. It took me so long to lose that
drawl, that.
Oh my God. I mean, seriously, it was really hard.
Yeah. I mean, I know I have a Minnesota accent. I don't think it's, but it's a Twin Cities one. It's not nearly as pronounced as folks that live in smaller cities and stuff like that. And I know that happens anywhere in the country.
Oh, of course.
Folks in Atlanta don't have the same accent as someone that lives outside. Folks, it's different. Folks in Austin and Houston don't talk the same as folks that are out farther and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure.
And that's the way that it is around the entire world.
Absolutely.
And but I did mess with folks when I was younger because I lived in Kentucky, Missouri, Ohio, stuff like that. And by the time I got here, and then it was like, had most of my ear at 7. It was just like, where are you from? But I've been here since I was 7. So yeah, I've Minnesoted myself.
Oh, yes. I've Minnesoted myself too. I've been here. It'll be 25 years in a few more months.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Well, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.